We're live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Moonlight Racing League Thursday Thriller Truck Series. We are live from Nashville Super Speedway. It's Season 6, Week 1. It's opening night. I'm Mean Gene Money, smoking Joe Volpes up here in the booth. And we are excited to bring you another exciting, spectacular season of racing. Last year, Season 5, Zach Panzarella found his way to a championship ring, defeating the lights of David Owens, Joe Volpes, and Dalton Geyer at Kentucky. Can he repeat? Or will it be a new champion? It was a Final Four shootout at Kentucky. A.J. Binish took the win, but Zach Panzarella, behind a third-place finish, got that championship. What do you think, Joe? A championship by any other name is just as sweet, right?
Yeah, you know what? That race last season, it really came down to a couple key decisions that happened. Whether or not people wanted to take tires or not on the last caution of the race. Everyone in the championship four decided to hold pat, and no cautions fell. And Zach Panzarella had the best track position and had the best truck out of the four championship four drivers that night, and was able to get his first MRL championship done there, Mean Gene.
Great job for Panzarella that day. You know, Zach's always been fast. Zach has a reputation for winning poles and getting out quicker than anyone else. The question has always been, does he have that long speed? Can he keep it up over the long run? And he hit gold in Kentucky last year, taking that championship. And now he is ready. He is here tonight. 26 drivers preparing to do battle here at Nashville Super Speedway. Cannot wait. We're still in practice seeing the boys as the lights are starting to go up and the darkness is starting to close in. Well, is this a night or a transition race here, Joe?
I think we're going to be under the lights here, Mean Gene. We're getting very close here. The lights are actually already on, to be fair, here. So I think that pretty much is going to tell you what it's going to be tonight. It's going to be a night race. It's going to be very, very fast, very grippy. You can see, if you guys haven't been racing at Nashville here recently, the walls are a different color now. Now they're white. They used to be blue. And as well, I think the track had a bit of a facelift as well. Little different look to it here as well. I think it might be a little bit more spacious there out of turn 4, as you can see there.
Ooh, speaking of spacious, looks like the 12 took a spacious entrance to make his way down into the pits. So, new faces this year. We're actually going to have some MRL veterans that are going to make the jump to the Truck Series. Sean Walton, he's off his fresh six-pack championship in the Monday Night Mayhem League, so Walton will be jumping in to do battle here with the trucks. The Rooster, Robert Babcock. The Rooster, he's a multiple-time winner over in the Wednesday Night Xfinity, and now he is also ready to make do here in that Target number 2. The boys from Animal House Customs, Michael Benton and Ricky Mandela. Both of these fellas, Bonfire Race League veterans, making the jump over from our sister series, ready to see what good old Mike can do. And Mike, he's more than just a driver. He's also a parts sponsor, wouldn't you say, Joe? We're both running pedals off of that guy.
Yeah, Mike Benton is definitely a good friend of ours. I'm very appreciative for everything that he's done for us. Great guy, really has a heart of gold. Can't say enough about just how great of a guy he is. Same with Ricky Mandela as well. Both those guys have been just great ever since they've joined the league. It's been really cool to have them. Of course, and if I can get a good camera angle of the 3 truck, that'd be really good. There we go. That's better. That's much better. Now we can actually see the truck for a change there, Mean Gene. So, big shout out to them. Shout out to Animal House Customs and everything they do, of course, with us in MRL with the Friday night series, and then of course over in BRL as well with the BRL Premier Cup Series. I mean, I just can't thank them enough for everything they do with us.
I'll tell you what, he's got some real nice prototypes of some shirts also. So if you've got an image of your card, you can send him. You can get your own handcrafted screen printed shirt there from Animal House Customs, Ricky Mandela. Continuing along the theme of new faces, Lucas Alves. Lucas is going to be coming on over as well. If you remember Lucas, he used to race MRL, and it's time for him to be back in a truck. And then, how about this one? Buddy Sully. Buddy, a part-time driver. He did win Monday Night Mayhem 2 years ago. He was the series champion, and now the Joplin, Missouri driver going to take a shot here in the trucks here tonight. And then 3 new faces, new to MRL as well as the truck series. That's going to be, of course, 900 numbers. The 900 of Ryan Whitaker. Wow, you are psychic. Ryan Whitaker going to run the number 900, 3 races, and then he can choose another slot. After him, we're going to look at the 905 of Dalton Wilson. Wilson, the Maryland driver, always good to see East Coasters up in here. He'll be making his first MRL start. And the 909 of Tim Abrell as well. Welcome to the league, my friend. That is the West Virginia driver. Hey, he might not be your pawpaw, but that's where he's from. The Pawpaw, West Virginia Chevrolet. Tim Abrell going to make his first start here today. 26 men will do battle. Cannot wait to see. But there's some specific faces I think we got to take a look at. You know, of course, you can look at the leaderboard right now from practice. Sean Walton, Fast, Joe Vulpes, the Rooster, Buddy Sully, David Owens. But how about that devilish AJ Benish? That fella, all he does is win. I can hear the music in the background. I'm not a big fan of R&B. Full disclosure, I actually am. But all he does is win, Joe.
Yeah, you know, he's actually coming off a very disappointing season by his standards in MRL. You know, he did have 2 very dominating wins, one at Homestead early in the season, and then, of course, the dub to close out the season at Kentucky. But every race in between for him was uncharacteristically just very bad luck for him throughout the season. And I think he really wants to turn it around. Only 4 top 5s, 4 top 10s for AJ in a full season is unheard of, in my opinion. I don't think I've ever heard numbers that low for him. So I know he really wants to turn it around and make the championship for this season as well.
Yeah, 1.5 mile tracks. This dude is a straight menace. In our Tuesday night league with our sister league Bonfire, this fella's started 4 races. He's got 4 top 5s and 2 wins. Nothing but trouble out of the Milwaukee, Wisconsin driver. And he's running that same summer shanty paint job. So I'm expecting the same results. You get AJ on 1.5 miles. I mean, he must have been borrowing my gear. He must have been in my half rig for the season that he had last year on Thursday nights. So I expect a great deal more from AJ. Other guys with a lot of speed that we could talk about maybe that aren't on the top of that board yet. How about a Kyle Lynott? This is a fella always doing battle. Gulf Coast driver running the 988, 2-time BRL All-Star champion, and always a threat to run up in the front. He comes from good lineage, that Gulf Coast team, always well educated on strategy, fuel, tires, track conditions. So Kyle coming from that really good stable. Also, he's accustomed to fighting through dirty air. He's used to running up front as well. So this is the guy I think we're going to have to keep an eye on as well, Kyle.
Yeah, I know you touched on the point of the way the teams are working. You know, Kyle and not usually running on Gulf Coast Racing. In this series, he's actually on an adjacent team. He's on Race High Racing, I believe is the name of the team. with a couple other people as well, including Steve Fugay, and David Brenner as well. So the way the teams work in here actually is, last season we were running 3-man teams for the full season. This season it's going to be 4-man teams. So a lot of these teams, have added a driver. So the original 3 for Gulf Coast Racing coming into the season, I think it was David Owens, Joe Volpus, and of course the third one was David Brenner. Brenner moves over to Race High Racing. So there was some team movement here then. So, you still got Owens and Volpus together on the team. Buddy Sully, as you touched on him earlier, he's going to be the new 3rd member on that team. And the new 4th member, actually, is somebody I don't think you've touched on yet, and that's Matt Novella, as he jumped ship from Team DDI on Thursday nights to come join Gulf Coast Racing as the new driver.
It was amazing last year when Novella signed with DDI. It was big news, as we expected him to be one of the top runners on that team. Turn around, Dalton Geyer and Zach Panzarella from DDI, they're both in the Final 4, and it was Matt who became more of a road course specialist, I would say, for that team. So Matt Novella going to come back to his roots. Really exciting news there for that entire team. Now, I mentioned that the championship was at Kentucky. I can't exactly tell you where the championship is this year, can I, Joe?
No, because we're pretty much doing the same thing we did last season all over again here, Mean Gene. So what we're going to see this season is we're going to see the same thing we saw last season here as we pull up that graphic. We're going to see that truck team tournament happen like last season all over again. The winning truck team out of the chosen teams out of the draft, of course, is going to be the team that chooses where the championship is. So the way it's going to work, Mean Gene, let me give you the lay of the land on it. So the 4 team owners, the 4 team captains, are going to be the 4 championship 4 drivers from last season. So, that was Dalton Geyer, your champion, Zach Panzarella, David Owens, and Joe Volpus. So those 4 are going to be the team captains that are going to have the final say on where the championship race is going to be. And they're going to draft the pool of drivers that are full-time over the course of these first 6 races. And they're going to put together their team based on that. So we're going to see which team comes out on top. Of course, last season it was Zach Panzarella's team coming out on top. Zach making the choice then to go with Kentucky, roll the dice with that track, and he ended up beating everybody there and finished 3rd in the race, 1st in the championship. So right now the truck team tournament champions are 1 for 1 on choosing the right track to win the championship for themselves.
Yeah, really amazing how that works out. Those leaders will pick from the entire field. Teams won't exactly be intact, as we'll see Gulf Coast guys running with DDI guys, running with High Point guys. And last year for DDI, surprise, it was really Captain Crunch Steve Lewis ended up carrying that team for 2 weeks straight at the end of the regular season, and ended up powering them along with Geyer and Panzarella, and that gave them the ability to choose that. So that second pick, of course, so important, or first pick for the captains, but it's that 3rd and that 4th pick that could really stand out. And with new faces out here, I mean, if you picked a Sean Walton as the 3rd guy on your team, you have made a steal. Imagine getting an AJ Binish as your co-captain. I mean, there's just so much speed on this track right now that there's no way to tell until we get deep into the season. And DDI, they didn't even secure that track advantage, the opportunity to pick it, until the end of the season. So this thing, we're expecting another in-season battle just to see that, which just builds the excitement more and more as we go throughout this year. 12-week season followed up by 2 3-race elimination rounds, and that'll lead us down into that championship 4. I talked about this to you earlier, Joe. There's some neat tracks that aren't on that schedule. Charlotte, such a big one. You can see it was that recruitment race. I like that track. How come there's no Charlotte?
So I know the way that the schedule was put together this season was to bring us to places that we don't usually go to as much and try and stay away from places that we've gone to a lot, such as Charlotte. Charlotte, I think, was a track that was on the schedule for every season coming into this one. So, we're going to stray away from trying to be, the same kind of cookie cutter series every season and try and get some different tracks on the schedule, a different variety of kind of racing. And you can really see it in the schedule. A lot more short tracks are on the schedule this season, so it's going to be a lot more of a technical season, in my opinion, than ones in the past.
Where's that Rockingham? Everybody loves Rockingham.
Oh, I'm sure the team captains are eyeing that potentially as a championship race. I know, like you mentioned, Charlotte, it's not on the schedule in the regular season or in the playoffs at all either. That's another track that I'm sure these team owners are eyeing. There's a lot of tracks out there that we're not going to this season. Another big one that I'm going to note here is Michigan. Those are probably the big three I would note that are not on the schedule this season.
Yeah, Michigan, always a popular choice. Whenever we do recruiting races, those things always pop up. So we're just going to keep monitoring this as we go, and we will find out exactly the preferences as these teams get together. And then, of course, in team politics, as the entire team should agree, but in the end, it's not a vote. The captain will pick, and he will be the one that tells league admin Steve Fugay where they will have that championship race. So I believe qualifying is about to take place here. Going to see exactly
about to end there, Mean Gene.
Hey, look at that. I love when time passes. It's like when you're at the restaurant.
Them results for you.
It's like when you go to the restaurant, go to the bathroom, and come back, and the food's already on the table. Well, there it is. Look at that. His very first race. Sean Walton, defending six-pack champion from Monday night, finds himself on the pole. Next to him, David Owens, Zero Chill, is chilling on the outside lane. Second row, Patrick Cowgill, one of the brothers, DDI driver, will start third. Next to him, Buddy Sully, High Side Hustler Motorsports. That can't be right. Number 5, Tim Abrell. Welcome to the league, my friend. Joe Volpis going to start row 3 outside in 6th position. Series defending champion Zach Panzarella will be starting 7th. 8th, next to him, Dalton Wilson, another 900 number. David Brenner gonna start 9th, and Matt Novella gonna be in the 10th position.
Good qualifying effort there from Matt Novella to start in the top 10 tonight. We'll see what he can do with it. Right behind them on row 6, you're going to have Alex Hillman and AJ Binish. Not really a characteristic qualifying effort from him. We'll see how long it takes him to get to the front of the field. We know how good he is here at Nashville. Starting behind them will be Steve Lewis in 13th, Tommy Fox in 14th place. Row behind them, you see Kyle Lynott. Not a very good characteristic qualifying effort from him either here tonight. He's going to start alongside Ricky Mandela on row number 8. Row 9 will show Chris Cowgill as he comes to join the series this season alongside Richard Swingle. And if we look further back throughout the field, we see some other guys put down some lap times as well. Ryan Whitaker, new driver in the series, going to start alongside the series admin Steve Fugay. John Beverly making a one-off appearance here tonight, going to start in 21st alongside Joe Amato. Mike Benton and Stephen Bryan are the last two to put down lap times, going to start 23rd and 24th respectively. And then starting with no time in qualifying, Robert Babcock and Lucas Alves in their first starts in the series here tonight. So no qualifying time, first race out, and they're going to start from the rear there, Mean Gene. Let's see what they can do.
Give them an opportunity to see exactly what's going on in front of them, get used to these drivers. So new breed, new season, and new track, right? You said there was a little bit of a refurbish and white walls now instead of blue. Look at these fellas, some of them choosing to just take it down that exit of pit lane. 18 of Sean Walton, the little Debbie truck, finds himself in the lead. See what he can do with that Toyota. Not a ton of Toyotas in a truck series, but Sean Walton is out there as the marquee driver.
Yep, going to make his first start here in the series tonight. We know how good Sean Walton is in the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. Let's see if it translates over to the Truck Series for him here tonight, as I think our pace truck's about to head off onto pit road.
Well, I think he's going to do great. I mean, I do terrible in next gen, but I do okay in trucks. Let's keep an eye on Walton. He's on the inside. David Owens next to him. Got an eye on that number 18 red and white truck about to bring him across the start-finish line. And away we go. Sean Walton takes him across, and we are live here at Nashville as Walton is side by side with Owens into turn number 1. The number 31 and Patrick Cowgill directly behind them. Owens trying to make the outside work. Walton on the inside still side by side. Lots of trucks backing up behind them as they go down the back stretch. Walton now trying to find speed down on the apron, but look at Owens with the power of the outside lane. Walton pulls side by side. They're on the front stretch, and it is gonna be David Owens leading lap number 1.
Man, if that's the way the race is going to finish, then we're in for a real heater here tonight there, Mean Gene. Did you see that? That was a photo finish for leading lap 1.
I'll tell you what, David Owens, that's the kind of guy, loves Nashville. If you were to tell him to pick a track for the championship and there was no other input, I think we'd end up here. So Owens now doing battle with Cowgill. Cowgill also a DDI veteran, a veteran of driving in the trucks. Should be giving Owens a run for his money when they're in this vehicle. And look at Cowgill take it down low as he is going to pull away from Owens. Owens doing his best to keep it tight, but now it's Cowgill in control in that number 31. Sean Walton still in third. Abrell 4, Buddy Sully, that's your top 5. Look at the single file after them as well.
Yeah, this is some really crazy racing we got going on here. I didn't really expect him to get into a single file line like this so early, but it does look like passes are going to be at a premium here, as looks like, are these guys slowing down there, Mean Gene? Do we have a caution? I think we might have a caution.
Lap number 4, we might have a little bit of an incident on the course.
Yeah, we got a caution out there.
Caution has been thrown.
Looks like we're picking up the 3 truck and the 19 truck were involved here. Let's see if we can get the replay spooled up for you so we can see what happened.
That's the 3 of Ricky Mandela Sr. He is the Animal House custom driver making his first start here in the Thursday Thriller Truck Series. Going to take a look, and here we go. You can see him there on the inside. Oh, and they go for a ride. Looks like Joe Amato in the 19 decides to show Ricky the best places to visit here in the MRL Thursday Thriller Series, and I guess that was in the grass.
Yeah, we can see here, looks like the 19 gets in the wall, the 3's trying to come up behind him, and they just meet in the middle, and then they decide that they wanted to do some lawn care here on the front stretch at Nashville. I think those guys spent a lot of time and money to do what they do here, and to lose it on lap 4 is not what they had in mind.
Hey, get it over with early. Let's for the fans at home, Thursday Thriller, how many fast repairs do I get, Joe?
You get 1 fast repair still, so if we end up having a big enough incident where we need to use one, then we have the ability to use one.
There you go. I don't think that incident right there is going to call for a fast repair, but it's definitely going to call for a little bit of wacky and tobacco as Mandela gets that thing back onto the course. Other drivers also taking that opportunity. I saw Buddy Sully in there. I saw John Beverly in there. So other drivers taking that opportunity to, hey, just refill. If you're not in the top 5, why not? Might as well make your next pit stop just that much quicker. There's that 0-1 indicative, of course, of John Beverly. I want to start calling him the commissioner. I think it'd just be fun.
Or the commander. So those guys that pitted there, Mean Gene, the reason why they pitted is because we have a stage break at the end of lap 45. And pretty much what the fuel window is here is about 34 to 38 laps. So these guys might find a way to really stretch it out and make it to the stage break here if they really do a good job at saving that fuel they might be able to make it so, Buddy Sully, we might see him here try to save some fuel and really push it to the limit and find his way into a stage win potentially, if this thing goes green, of course.
Oh, I hate when those people do that. Go down there and take fuel. They drive me crazy. Ruin my 14th place finish and make me finish 16th instead. Patrick Cowgill now being shown as your leader. David Owens on the outside, side by side. Sean Walton, Tim Abrell, your second row. And Joe Volpus, Zach Panzarella, going to be on your third row. The pace truck bringing him around turn 4, expecting that pace truck to go on and get out of the way here soon and get us back underway. Ooh, I'm a little ahead of you. They're actually on the backstretch. Oh, my.
Oh, I think we got some contact.
Contact? What is that?
Oh, my goodness. What is going on? This is gonna be a delayed start here.
All right, so we're definitely going to have to delay the start. Was that Amato again?
All right, I think we got a replay here to show what happened.
Looks like Novella, Amato. So that's Amato in the 19 there. That's the blue and white. And then he gets wackoed. Ooh, Benish almost caught
in
up.
the 13, and that was the 56 and the 12 that all got into each other in that part of the incident. And then you look further on back here. This is 17 of Mike Benton. You can see him. He's going to try and check up as those guys all wreck into the infield. And the 19, oh my goodness, gets big contact.
Hey, tell me you work in a chocolate factory making fudge without telling me you work in a chocolate factory. Joe Amato packing it in there tight. That was a rough incident for some of those drivers. Big names avoiding it. Look how close. Benish almost victimized by other people's insanity under caution. Ooh, I'm glad I'm not going to have to review that. One more look
it looked
here.
like what happened. There. I think the 18 started to back off, wasn't keeping pace speed. The 13 had to do an accordion effect checkup, and it just accordioned too hard back into Matt Novella, and then it just created all that contact between everybody.
Wow, that is unfortunate right there. 18, of course, is Sean Walton. Second truck on the outside row, right behind David Owens. So finally, looks like we're rolling again. Few cars not happy. Some single file back there. There's still a little bumpy poo going on, but I think the boys have got it figured out. Let's keep an eye on Cowgill. He is your control truck in the 31 as he pulls up to that start-finish line. Away we go. Cowgill has control. Sean Walton is going to stay tight behind him on the inside. Owens in third. He's going to cut it down in front of Tim Abrell. Abrell in that red and white truck. Right now, Cowgill, Winfield, Owens, Abrell, Volpus. That's your top 5. Keeping an eye on Cowgill, the truck veteran. He's won in the PFL. He's won in the DDIL. And now here he is in the Thursday Thriller, looking to add an MRL victory to his name. And he's going to lead us around here on lap number 9.
Yeah, and we're going to do some housekeeping on some stuff that happened there from that wreck. The 13 truck has some left rear damage. Not sure if there's any sort of considerable damage to the 12 truck of Zach Panzarella. It's kind of hard to tell if anything really happened to his truck here. Let's see if we can get a good view of it. Very nice paint scheme, by the way, for him. Unfortunate that it got roughed up a little bit there. Can't really see much anything going on. He might be okay, or he might have some structural damage. Of course, Mike Benton, he was able to get some of his damage fixed. You can see him coming around the track. It looks like he might still be a little bit out of skew. We can look at Joe Amato. He's at the tail end of this field right now of trucks on the lead lap. He looks like he's struggling. He might still have some damage. And Matt Novella is the really big loser out of this. He's serving a 40-second hold right now because he entered a closed pit in order to try and fix some of the damage from that. So Matt Novella is going to be on the back foot here early on in the race.
Not the day that Matt Novella wanted to have. Tough way to start as we are on lap number 12. Novella coming out of the pits right now. Up front, though, it's still that number 31 trying to put some distance between him and the 8 of David Owen. Sean Walton with a great debut right now, fronting in third. Tim Abrell, even better debut right there. You can see him in that 900 number right behind Walton. And then now David Brenner, the 22, moving his way up into the top 5. Great racing here at Nashville Super Speedway as we find ourselves at the opener here in the season 6 of the Thursday Thriller Series, live on the Vortex. Are we on MRL?
Vortex.
We're on the Vortex Racing Network. I'm Mean Gene Money, and I've got Smokin' Joe Vulpes here, bringing you all the action all year long as we shall see which of these drivers will rise to the top. Ooh, little side-by-side back there as we see the trucks start to spread out, but others still battling for position. That 2 right there is the Rooster Babcock, about to find himself under fire from the 988 of Kyle Lynott. Just ahead of those, you can see Alex Hillman, the Birmingham driver, having a great day so far. Seen him be very competitive in these trucks on Tuesdays before, so no surprise to see him up there making chase right behind the summer shanty of AJ Benish.
Yeah, you can see here David Brenner looks like he's going to try and shape up a move on Tim Abrell for 4th place. Let's see if he can get it done. Looks like Abrell might be getting held up a little bit by Sean Walton.
Yeah, this is the thing we were going to look at. You mentioned earlier, how does it translate the speed of going from the cup car to the truck? You can already see there's that gap in front of Walton, and those trucks behind him starting to line up. Usually you find a really easy place once you get in the truck, but the fellas behind him, they might have that nuances a little bit in their bones better than Sean Walton at this point. Wouldn't be surprised if Sean Walton's an expert by 3/4 of the way into this race, but we're still early on, and those boys are chomping at the bit right behind him.
Yeah, they're starting to line up there. The 13 truck, you see him, he's in the line, a little left rear damage right now. It doesn't look like it's really affecting him. But I'm looking a little further back. Of course, we were talking about how AJ didn't really have the qualifying effort that we would expect out of him. He's already up to 7th. I was highlighting Robert Babcock earlier, actually, because he's the biggest mover so far. He started, of course, on the last row in 25th place, and already in the top 10 here on lap number 18 there, Mean Gene. So really, really cutting through this field. We'll see if he's able to keep it up or if he starts falling off because he used up these tires to make up all those spots.
Something you're going to have to keep an eye on here in Nashville is when those tires do start to wear. I think, of course, the lower track temperatures at night is going to be an advantage for those guys that might be running harder. And right now, Babcock in that number 2 Toyota, one of those fellas up 16 spots to the 9th position, currently chasing the 08 of Hillman, trying to get by that DDI driver. And behind them, you can see Dalton Wilson, another of the 900 guys. 3 new drivers here tonight. And right now, 2 of them running in the top 10. That's a good introduction for the new guys.
Yeah, very good run here to start the race for them, running very clean. The 3rd one of them right now, Ryan Whitaker, he's a little bit further back, but that's because he pitted under that first caution. So right now he's 3rd in line of guys that pitted under that first caution there, Mean Gene. So if we look, John Beverly right now is the first of the guys that pitted on the first caution there that went fuel only. Then you got Stephen Bryan right behind him, Ryan Whitaker right behind him, Steve Lewis next in line, he pitted on that first caution as well. Then you see Buddy Sully, he might be in fuel save mode because he's fallen pretty far back out of these guys on this strategy. So I think he might be trying to save some fuel here, make sure he can make it to that stage break at lap 45 there.
Buddy Sully currently in 19th, down 15 spots from his qualifying run of 4th. That's Buddy Sully there in the number 10. Ahead of him, you can see Steve Lewis getting a little impatient as he takes it high to low, trying to find his way through the moving roadblock in front of him. That's Ryan Whitaker and Stephen Bryan. So something's got to give. There it is now, looking down low into the orange, blue, and white 88. That is Captain Crunch. exciting to see him out there every time. Lots of single file, except for those brave enough to go down into the land of unbridled optimism. Oh, and the 88 comes up close. Right there to the 16 of Steve O'Brien. That's one way to get by him, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you could scare him, I guess. That kind of works.
Works
good
on
move
me.
there, though, by Steve. Good move there by Steve Lewis, though, to clear him. He's going to start working on the next guy in line, which, of course, is Ryan Whitaker.
We go back towards... he's wild.
We go back towards the front of the field, though. That gap, Mean Gene, is starting to close. Looks like David Owens has figured it out and is starting to get on the back bumper of that 31 of Patrick Cowgill. And you know what else? If you look right behind the two of them creeping into this picture is Sean Walton.
Sean Walton, as I said, only a matter of time till he figures out the nuances of the truck and the difference between a truck and a next-gen car. And I think he's putting it together. Walton, of course, one of our younger drivers, very quick and very aggressive, but right now he is just learning the line. And there's not a lot of better people you could pick to follow around the track than David Owens if you're trying to find out the quickest way to make it around Nashville. So, yeah, you can see just how close Owens is now. He is right up that rear tail bumper of Patrick Cowgill. Cowgill here on lap 25 might be thinking it would be easier to let him go. Going to be interesting to see what the veteran driver decides to do when he's got a driver of Owens' abilities behind him.
Yeah, we've seen what Patrick Cowgill could do last season. He won, of course, at Watkins Glen with that great pit strategy and was able to beat Zach Panzarella there. We've seen him run up front here at the oval tracks as well. Wasn't full-time, though, enough in order to really be a playoff driver. So I'm sure he's going to want to get involved in it this season. And, what would be a good way to do that is to go out there and win the first race of the season.
Hey, and bring your brother. That way your brother can call you pansy if you don't show up.
Yeah, there you go.
Nothing like peer pressure to make you do better. And bullying.
Yeah, you know what? Why not? It looks like maybe Cowgill doing a good job here, though, under pressure as well. David Owens has been on the back bumper of him for about the past 3 or 4 laps, and he has not wavered in his approach.
Well, that brings me to a question I want to ask you, Joe. What about the dirty air out there? I mean, how much does drafting help, and how much does dirty air affect when you're trying to get by somebody?
Yeah, so with the truck, it's not really as pronounced as it is as in, let's say, the Cup car, but it's still there. It still can really get you if you're not expecting it. So, you do want to make sure you don't make, you're like look at Owens. He's trying to offset just that little bit to get some clean air to the nose, or else he's going to wash up like he did right there. Trying to set up this pass. So that's what you really got to be concerned with, especially at a track like Nashville. It's very easy to get tight. What I am going to let you know here, though, is Zach Panzarella has come to pit road here, and I believe he just took 4 tires. And this is crucial because there's only 3 sets additional in the race. So the way the strategy usually works out in these races is you have a pit stop before the stage, then you have the stage, and then you usually have to make another pit stop after the stage before the race ends. So if you take a set of tires before the stage break, and then you take a set of tires at the stage break, you're only going to have 1 set of tires left for the rest of the race. So I don't think we're really going to see anybody else take tires, as it looks like Steve Fugay is going to come down pit road this time. Maybe he'll prove me wrong here and take a set of tires anyways. But most of these guys I expect to splash and dash. And maybe those guys that pit on that first caution are going to try and save it and make it to the stage break.
Well, if you're not one of the top 3 cars, you might as well try a different strategy. You're right about the 94. He just does a little splash and go there to make it to the end of the stage. That's Kyle Lynott in that 988, going to bring it in. But if you're not one of the top 5 cars, you need to do something different, because clearly what you're doing isn't going to get you into the lead. So why not take a chance? Why not come down, take some tires, push the next stage? You'll start in the front of that stage, a little bit of luck, a little bit of a caution, and then you're back on to the same tire strategy as everybody, and you've improved your track position. Speaking of track position, how about David Owens up front as he is pulling away? And now Sean Walton looking below Cowgill, and Walton trying to power that Toyota into second, finally clears the 31 as they are going into that turn. Look at Cowgill trying to make the outside work. Walton's going to slide right up in front of him and take over that second position. David Owens now is going to be your leader as he leads lap number 32.
Yeah, seeing David Owens in the lead of this race, not really that much of a surprise with how good he is here at Nashville. Sean Walton, though, great recovery from him, starting to settle in as well, up to second place here. And then the next guy that I'm looking down through the field, up to fourth place, is now AJ Binish. So I don't think he's going to get there for the stage. But, after this stage break, I think he's in a really savory spot to give himself a chance to win the race. As we see Patrick Cowgill's going to dive it down pit road here.
Yep, Patrick Cowgill. Looks like Alex Hillman also going to take an opportunity to come down into the pits, see if these boys decide to take the tires or if they're just going to do a quick little splash and run on through. 31 making his way down out there. Owens continues to maintain that lead over Winfield. AJ Binish behind them. And then Robert Babcock. Babcock up 21 spots. This guy definitely one of your faster movers as we look out on the track. That's Babcock in that number 2 Target vehicle. Oh, that looks like Sean Walton's colors.
Yeah, Sean Walton coming down pit road. Looks like he let a couple people down. I think Tim MRL followed him down pit road, as well as Chris Cowgill. So a few, the other Cowgill down pit road here this time as well. We'll see what these guys do. Let's see. So you see Sean Walton pull into the number 1 pit stall. And he's still sitting there, and he's still sitting there, and there he goes. That looked like a fuel-only stop to me there, Mean Gene.
That was a lot of fuel right there, so we'll see how that pays off. The great thing that we're seeing right here, Smokin' Joe, is green flag pit stops. That just adds another level of difficulty to the race that we're seeing tonight. Anybody can come down pit road, follow in line on a caution. Anybody can make sure you hit pit speed and just follow your way in and hit your gears and come on out. But when you come in under green, look at what Owens just did. That guy is moving like a rocket ship, slams the gears down, slows down, doesn't spin, has that perfect entry. And here's another guy, AJ Binish. That's another pro of these green flag pit stops. That really allows these cars to space out.
Yeah, so this is a really big place when we have green flag pit stops to really make up time, is you want to be very precise on your pit entry and you want to be precise on your pit exit. Most of the time, it's very easy, I feel like, to make up time on the pit entry if you really have your brakes dialed in good enough. But the pit exit, this is the part where you really need to nail it, is coming out of pit road. You need to get up to speed as fast as possible without either, here going in the grass or going across into the racetrack before the merge spot. So we'll see here. AJ looks like he did a very good job getting on and off pit road as the lead is over to your bro there, the captain, now leading the race.
Captain Crunch Steve Lewis going to get him some playoff points leading, going to bring it into the pit. Leads will be taken over by Ryan Whitaker. Oh, he's going fast.
I think he got it down to speed, I think.
Yeah, we'll find out in about 30 seconds, won't we? Up front, Ryan Whitaker. He is your leader. Behind him, Rich Swingle. Ricky Mandela is shown in third, but he's also calling out for the pits. So we're going to see more and more of these guys coming down as we are on lap number 39, trying to head toward that stage break at 45. Points will be awarded to the top 10, and there will be a caution thrown at that point. So can't wait to see exactly how this rotates around. I don't think anybody's going to stretch this thing out to the 45, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at the lap times here. It looks like Whitaker, I don't think Whitaker's going slow enough to really make it work. The only guy lap time wise is Buddy Solly, and we'll see if he's able to pull it off here. He's about 4.5 seconds behind Whitaker. It looks like he's still dropping some time here to them. Actually, let's, as Whitaker comes down pit road, let's go on board with with Buddy. Let's see if he's doing anything to try and save some fuel.
You know, there's been a lot of lead changes over the last few moments. I'd hate to be the guy trying to figure out who gets stage points. You're going to definitely have to take a picture of it at that point. Yeah, with Whitaker coming down, though, for the pits, he last pitted on lap number 7. Buddy Sully and Rich Swingle pitted on lap 5, so those extra 2 laps of fuel weren't enough for Whitaker to make it toward the end. So we're still looking. Everybody else has come in except for Swingle and Buddy Sully. So waiting to see if they can make it. 4 more laps. That's a tough stretch.
Yeah, we're coming to 3 to go this time. It looks like Swingle's pace might actually start be falling off. Oh, no, he's going to come down pit road this time by. Here comes Swingle down pit road, a very aggressive entry. So he is out of the running, and I
there's
think Buddy followed him down.
Yeah, you can't risk it this early in the race. You don't want to run out of fuel. You've already seen what can happen to a good driver when Matt Novella found himself victimized on just that drive-through. You can imagine the pain of running out of gas on the back. So, you know, the other guy, Matt Novella, he actually pitted on lap 9, and he's still trying to stretch it out there, Joe.
Yeah, I think he has to, though, because he's back to 1 lap down with the way he currently runs. So he needs to stretch it out here so he stays 1 lap down.
Oh, he has to now
to get back into this race.
Admin's just closed pit lane, so he's got to now.
Well, if he didn't have a choice, if he thought he had a choice before, he definitely don't have one now. I think he's had enough black flags for one night, in my opinion. Yeah. It looks like Zach Panzarella on those fresh tires just overtook Sean Walden for second. So Zach's going to run out of time, I think, to catch David Owens. 2 seconds back. David Owens is coming to take the white flag for the stage this time by. So I don't think he's going to make up 2 seconds in 1 lap unless he's got some nitrous in that truck.
He was 0.6 of a second faster that last lap. So even if he holds that same course, that's just not going to be enough for him to get it done. Unfortunate. You know, when you're taking tires this early in that first stage, you're really wanting to win this stage. You want that playoff point. He'll still get great stage points, but David Owens in the driver's seat right now as he's bringing it down the back stretch here, going into 3. David Owens in command right now as he's bringing it through 4. Panzarella closing the gap. He's coming into my camera right now, but David Owens is going to bring it across, and he is going to win stage 1, race 1 here at Nashville Super Speedway. Good job by the 8 of David Owens. Zach Panzarella is going to bring it home in second. It cost him that set of tires. Hopefully it won't cost him too much. Behind them, Sean Walton is going to finish in 3rd here at the end of stage 1. Patrick Cowgill 4. AJ Binish going to finish 5. Tim MRL, welcome to the series, my friend. He gets that 6th place in his first stage MRL race. Kyle Lynott going to finish in 7th. The Rooster, Robert Babcock, he jumps up 17 spots to finish 8th. Alex Hillman 9, and Joe Volpis going to finish in 10th here at the end of stage number 1. Now, we got
we got Zach Panzarella here. I think he's abandoning ship on the race here, Mean Gene.
Oh, no. Oh, was he taking tires again?
I think Zach has to head out for an event, and I think he was just trying to win the stage there. Yep, there you go. There he goes. He's out.
Wow, that is unfortunate. So 2 of the final 4 last year now find themselves off the track. Dalton Geyer didn't make the start today, and Zach Panzarella finds himself a victim of a previous engagement, and he is gone as well. That's going to leave us 25 drivers out there. Most of these guys taking an opportunity to run it up into the pits now. I would imagine 4 tires is on the schedule.
Oh yeah, we're all taking tires this time, 100%.
Oh, that's pretty neat right there. I can actually see the fellas running around on one of the cars.
Oh, look at that, Mean Gene. Look at that. Sean Walton wins the race off pit road. Gets David Owens.
Yep, I guess Toyotas do get tires on faster because they sure did that time. That's that number 18 Toyota, Little Debbie Toyota. Sean Walton gets off first before Owens. Patrick Cowgill right behind him in that 31 in third place. A.J. Benish in fourth, and Tim Abreu continues to impress as he comes out of there in fifth.
Looking further on back, you see Tommy Fox. He's worked his way up front. He's up, it looks like, into seventh place now. Good run going for him. If we look further on back, another one of those newbies, Dalton Wilson. He's in 10th place after this stage caution here. That's where he came out. Looking at the guys, of course, from that first caution there, Ricky Mandela, part of the first caution, he's back up to 13th place now, recovering well. Joe Volpus from the wreck on the pacing, looks like he got his damage fixed. He's fallen to 17th. If we look further on back even, looks like Matt Novella is still a lap down, but he's up to 23rd now. So another caution, he'll be able to get the lucky dog back on the lead lap. And Mike Benton not having the kind of race that he wanted to this point. I think they still had a lot of damage to fix. He's 3 laps down right now.
Yep, going to need to hammer out a little bit more of that damage to get back on there. Fast repair is in effect for these drivers, but they'd like to save it as long as they can. Ooh, that was a quick entrance. Now, we mentioned Tommy Fox earlier. All these boys taking 4 tires. Tommy Fox with a 6.5 second pit stop. Steve Lewis, 7.4. Chris Cowgill, 5.59. Lucas Alves, 7.26. I'm not thinking they got 4 fresh half of good ones.
Yeah, that's physically impossible for that kind of a pit stop to happen. So as the pace truck pulls off, we'll see how much of a tire difference they're really at here, Mean Gene. As
Sean
one
Walton.
of them lights.
Sean Walton, inside truck. He is your control car. Let's keep an eye on him as he's going to bring him to the restart zone. And away we go. Sean Walton with the early lead brings him across the start-finish line to begin lap number 50. He's going to bring it up high and get that perfect angle as he goes into turn number 1. Cowgill, Owen, side by side behind him. Single truck, A.J. Benish behind them, and then Abreu and Lanat. Robert Babcock still in the picture, running in 7th, and then Tommy Fox on the older tires. Going to see how long he can triage that. Up ahead of him, you can see the 17 coming into the picture. He's getting out of the way as quick as he can, back into the pits. That was a terrifying moment. I think I just saw part 17.
I think you just saw a brown pants moment. Hopefully these guys have some dark pants on, or else they're going to be in a Tony Stewart situation after that one. And look at this. Tommy Fox is not having a good time on these older tires. He is dropping like a rock through this field.
Yeah, I think we've all been there where you gotta make a swing for the fences. You gotta try something different. Tommy Fox tried to get those tires, and now the question is, how long can he triage this thing? Fox already dropped back into 14th, continues to sink like Welcher, who got caught by the Mafia. Cement shoes on that number 57. Up front, though, David Owens now has found his way up into the front as Sean Walton is finding difficulties of his own. Walton has fallen back into the 7th position, and David Owens, Benish, Cowgill, Abreu, Babcock, Lanat, they ate him alive.
Yeah, not a good job going for Sean Walton. I don't know if he had some sort of an issue where he got loose, or he's just not very good at launching here. But he's fallen all the way back to 7th. Not very characteristic of what we usually see out of him. And you know what I'm looking at, though? That Summer Shandy number 5 truck is working his way up into 2nd. And David Owens is going to have his hands full here in a second with not only AJ, but Patrick Cowgill as well, who's trying to make a move. Look at AJ Power on the bottom there. Almost gets to the inside of Owens coming out of 4.
AJ is an absolute menace. He loves to win. And right now, David Owens is preventing him from getting the thing that he loves the most. Behind them, Patrick Cowgill, winner at Watkin Glen last year, would love to scoop him up a winner here in the season opener. Battling, look at this, single file, Owens, Benish, Cowgill peeking outside, Abreu, Babcock, no one willing to blink. And you can see Lanat also in that single file line. Then there's a slight break back to Walton. This, though, Joe, this is how the last run started, didn't it? There was a break back to Walton, and then at some point, Walton got it into gear and then caught up to the front runners. Very strange to see Walton just kind of a slow starter at the beginning of a tire run.
Yeah, the problem this time, though, for Sean is he's given up a lot more spots. Last time he only fell to third or fourth when he lost all this time. This time he's fallen to seventh, fallen all this time behind. So a lot of fast boys in front of him to pass if he really wants to get back into the race like he did at the end of the stage. I don't really think it's going to be anywhere near as easy for him, especially with how hard it is to make passes here, as we got a new leader.
AJ Benish, there it is. He won on Tuesday, and he wants to win here today. Behind him, you can see side by side Owens Cowgill, and that's going to put a smile on AJ's face because he's going to be able to pull away from those two boys in their side-by-side battle. Tim MRL behind them. Fascinating to see how this new driver is going to approach the moving roadblock. Finally, Cowgill falls into line behind Owens. Top 5 cars now single file as they make their way around the course. Babcock and Lynott would love to catch up to the tail of Abreu and make this thing a tighter battle. But right now, all eyes on the 5 of Benish as he continues to lead here at lap number 58. Back there, Winfield looks like he's finally lining this thing up and getting back up to speed as the others are following behind him. But Hillman has won previously. Walt Wilson behind him, won in other leagues. And then Chris Cowgill, brother of Patrick Cowgill. Again, nothing like sibling rivalry and bullying to make you go fast.
Yeah, definitely. Moved up here into the top 10 for the 03 truck. Good run going for him so far here this evening. Making a good showing out of his first race in the series. As you keep looking further on back, I'm looking at Steve Lewis. He's pretty much where he started the race now in 13th place. Stephen Bryan right behind him, up 10 spots, up to 14th. Right now, still the biggest loser, though, in the race, other than Zach Panzarella, who left, is Buddy Sully. His whole pit strategy has really blown up in his face. And you see him, he's back here battling for 18th right now.
Too early to tell exactly what's going through the mind of the number 10 driver of Buddy Sully, but as you said, the Chevy driver not having the success that he would like, already passed the stage break, so there is no reprieve unless there's a caution at this point. All things are equal except for Buddy Sully's tires. You can see the 94 of Fugit trying to go around him. He and Sully stuck in this side-by-side battle, and that is for 18th and 19th as they continue to switch places there on the leaderboard. Right ahead of them, Ricky Mandela not making it any easier as he goes high and low, managing to block both drivers each turn, entrance, and exit.
Yeah, he's just chilling right now in 17th. We'll see what he's got for the later part of the run. It looks like he might let Steve and Buddy go here in turn 1. Or at least one of them go. We'll see if Buddy's able to make a pass here as well. Heated battle here for 17th. As you look back at the front of the field, though, AJ is starting to open up a little bit of a gap on David Owens. Not too much, though, and Patrick Cowgill is holding in strong. But this single file line, if you remember how compacted it was just 4 or 5 laps ago, is really starting to string out.
Yeah, you can see equal distance among the top 6, and now even the 7th place car of Walton starting to come into that equal spatial picture. Then behind them, Hillman, Wilson. So much space between these cars, which means the odds of a caution are greatly decreased when there's no one to make contact with. So good racing here as we continue to be green at Nashville. This is lap number 64 here in our season opener. I'm Mean Gene Money Smoking Joe Volpis bringing you our season opener of the Thursday Thriller Truck Series from the MRL Racing League here live on the Vortex Racing Network.
You know what, Mean Gene? You know what I think we got to do? We got to initiate our new audience here on Vortex with our first Crank It Up of the season. What do you think?
Oh, I think it's a good time.
Back.
And that was MRL Crank It Up, first of the season. Speaking of first of the season, Tim MRL in his first race of his season with MRL, but he's got the Rooster Cock-a-Doodle doing on his door, and Sean Walton behind him as well. Babcock and Walton, no strangers to each other, as they've had run-ins before, and now they have the opportunity to revisit their rivalry here at Nashville. That's 4th, 5th, and 6th doing battle. Behind them, you can see Kyle Lynott, Alex Hillman, and first-time driver Dalton Wilson coming into the picture, rounding out the top 9. And then Cowgill and Brenner doing battle for 9th and 10th behind them. That is a beautiful sideways battle as Brenner's going to bring it up in front. Cowgill sets himself up to try to go down low. Brenner slams the door. Joe, these guys are racing like it's Daytona.
Yeah, they're racing really hard for every position that they can get. You can see right behind them is Joe Volpus as well. He's moved his way back up to 12th. I don't know. I want to just see something here real quick. Yeah, look at that. Look at that, Mean Gene. I think Joe's trying to recreate what he did a couple seasons ago here at Nashville and see if he can get a win on some fuel mileage. Look at that.
Oh, the two dirtiest words in auto racing: fuel mileage. Nothing feels worse than pitting with the fastest truck on the track and then seeing some trickster go right by you with extra fuel. So he will try to recreate that. Up front, though, AJ Binish trying to recreate Tuesday's victory here on a Thursday night. But David Owen says, this is Nashville, and I own this track. I think David might say that about more than one track, but especially Nashville. He loves to be the king. Look how low Owens takes it there, trying to find a different line, as he is looking everywhere right now.
Yeah, right now, it's very hard to pass AJ sometimes. He's a very, very fierce competitor. To be fair, the top two right now are two of the fiercest competitors on the track, two of the hardest guys to pass for the lead in particular. And you're seeing it right now. AJ doing a good job of controlling the race as best as he can. David Owens trying to do anything he can to either get some clean air or find a way around AJ. And he's just not finding it right now, Mean Gene. I don't think he's going to be able to pull this off.
No, AJ is known as one of the faster guys.
Oh, boy.
Oh, David, that's not, you can't do that. That's going to cost him a few truck lengths, but I would not be surprised to see the 8 close that gap right back up. AJ had a tough season here in the Thursday Truck League last year, but of course he was the Tuesday night champion in Bonfire in trucks and has already hit 2 wins in that 5 races that they've had over there. So AJ back on to the path of success. Going to be a tough pass here tonight. Speaking of tough pass, go back to Babcock, Abrell, and Walton. These 3 guys, they look like an army of red trucks. Is this the Chinese army coming after us? Oh my word, Joe.
Man, if it is, then the end is near. I think get your Salvation Army bell out and start ringing it, because the end is near.
Well, Walton has got into the lead of this little group of 3. Babcock stays in the middle, and now it's Abrell that finds himself the 3rd red truck. So fascinating racing going on here. Behind them, Lynott got by Hillman, and now Lynott's trying to close it up. Oh, there goes Abrell into the pit, and looks like the 31 also going to bring it down. Cowgill going to come into the pit.
All right, so this is big. So we cannot make it to the end from here. We're 49 to go, so we're definitely short on fuel. If there's no cautions from here on out, then everybody is still going to have a set of tires left, because we're going to put on our 2nd set right here that we have sitting in the pits, which will leave 1 set left. So right now, pretty much what everybody's thinking, if you're pitting this early, you're either hoping for a caution with about 20 to go, or you're going to come pit with about 20 to go for your last set of tires. The guys that we see that if they stay out longer, Joe Volpus is probably going to be the one that's staying out the longest, and considering he was saving fuel, unless we have other people out there doing the same kind of strategy, then, it's going to be very interesting to see if anybody is able to save enough to make it on one stop. I think you got to go to at least 84 at the earliest to even have a shot at it. And you can see these guys pitting right now. They know they don't have enough. They know they're going to have to try and do something a little different and hope that either the cautions fall their way or no cautions come out at all.
You got to be careful. We saw Buddy Sully really try to stretch earlier to make it to the end of stage 1, ended up costing himself a great deal of position. So as far as saving fuel goes, that has not been the strategy early on here at Nashville. The business is picking up in the pits. Boys coming in, taking 4 and as much fuel as they can fit in there. AJ Benish still being shown as your leader, and I imagine we're going to see him swing it on in very soon. You're right about one thing, though. There are drivers that will risk those fuel strategies. Earlier this year,
here comes AJ.
AJ going to be the first of our leaders to bring it on in. Earlier this year, we saw David Owens over in the Sunday Premier Cup League use fuel strategy to beat a powerful Jason Landry. So it's not off the board for a Volpus or an Owens or a Lynott. Again, all those fellas in discord with each other. That might be a strategy. We'll just have to monitor exactly what they're doing. Let's go inside Owens's car there and see if he's doing some clutching and shiftering.
Oh, a little bit. Got a little bit of it going on with him here, too. I'm going to point out as well, David Owens' big win on Sundays. In the truck series on Tuesdays, so similar truck, the same car, Volpus was able to win at, didn't really matter here for Owens, as I'm going to cut my story short here for a second. As David Owens comes down pit road, it looks like he brings Babcock and Kyle Lynott and David Brenner all down with him, and that's actually going to put Volpus to the lead, who I was talking about. On Tuesdays in the truck series and Big Truck and Tuesday, also covered here on VRN, earlier in the season at Bristol, he was able to go 90 laps on his last set of tires and fuel and won that race on a gutsy pit strategy of not pitting again and saving enough fuel to go to the end on a green flag run to the end of the race. So we'll see if Vulpes is in the same boat. Looks like he's going to pit with 42 to go, as he really gets his money's worth coming down pit road. I don't know if this is... I don't think he's going to have enough. It's going to be very tight. Same with Richard Swingle, Ricky Mandela as well. Those three guys, they're going to need, I think, a little bit of a prayer to make it to the end from here.
Of course, all of our calculations are thinking that there won't be another caution, but there's no promises here in racing that there won't be another caution. So leaderboard's going to flip around as Vulpes now finds himself in the pits, and Patrick Cowgill is going to take over, and hey, he's going to get him some bonus points. We've had a lot of leaders here tonight as we've gone about the track.
Right behind him. Yeah, we got a lot of different leaders here. I don't know if you saw that there, Mean Gene, but MRL and Binish just threaded the needle and blew the doors off Sean Walton, as now MRL, he was going so fast that he started blinking, actually, right there. So what we're seeing here, Mean Gene, is we're seeing the difference in the way these guys pitted. So Patrick Cowgill, the reason why he's leading the race is because he pitted last on lap 76. He had a bit of an undercut on everybody. AJ Binish here, he's back up to second. He pitted on lap 80. So he's on a little bit fresher tires. Tim McBrell's gotten his track position by pitting early as well. He pitted on lap 76. Sean Walton on 78. And then one of the last guys to pit in fifth place is David Owens. That's why he's so far back. He pitted on lap 82.
Yep, and I can look back. Babcock, the Rooster, and Kyle Lynott both on 82. Brenner 82, Joe Vulpes 83, Buddy Sully 82. So any of those guys, they might get a wild hair and think they could push this thing. We'll just have to monitor what they're doing in about 30 laps. Of course, remember, we are scheduled to go 125 laps here tonight. Right now, we're on lap 87. Ooh, look at David Owens. That's how you make a pass. Just kind of rub that right side door as he went by Walton there. That was exciting.
Yeah, no love lost, as we know, between the two of them.
What? They're bunkies.
You've covered them extensively in the Monday series. You and Zach have done a great job on the Vortex Racing Network covering them and a lot of the other storylines on Mondays. There's no love lost between the two of them. And I'm sure we've seen it on the MRL Broadcasting Network as well, with the Xfinity series on Wednesdays as well.
They're bunkies. Come on, man. They're sharing info when we're not looking. It's probably like a Gordon Earnhardt behind the scenes. You never can tell. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, look at this. Binish now making battle with Cowgill. This is for the lead here on lap number 88. Binish looking down low. Cowgill trying to use the momentum of that outside line. Cowgill leads that lap again. Binish now, though, look at what he can do on the inside. Will he slide up? Can he clear that quarter panel? He does. And it's AJ Binish now going to take over the lead. AJ, this guy, all he does is win, and he's trying to lay it down again.
Yeah, and you know what? He's got a lot better tires than Cowgill and McBrell behind him. Owens is the first guy that he's got to really worry about with tire differences here. But Owens is 3 seconds behind him and maybe making up about... Let's see, if we pull up the last lap time around there, it looks like AJ ran a 30.78, making the pass. Owens ran a 30.51. Let's see what it is this time around there, Mean Gene, now that AJ's in clean air. Let's see how much time Owens makes up this lap.
Owens was the second fastest truck out there on the track. Buddy Sully ran a 30.47, but he's back in 13th place, still trying to figure out how to get this thing going again. AJ Binish continuing to power, going to run a 30.76 that time. Owens with a 30.66. So 10th of a second there. But I think a part of me is still believing Owens is trying to do some fuel saving. Now this surprises me right here. Look as Owens goes around the 909 there. That is Abrell running so strong earlier. But Owens is just cutting through this field like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, that's the advantage of those fresher tires. David's taken full advantage of those fresher tires over, he's got 6 laps here over Abrell. He's got 6 laps over Calgill in front of him. So I don't really foresee a problem with him jumping past, Calgill here probably in the next 10 to 15 laps. But catching up to AJ is going to be no small task. And I don't know if he's going to be able to get it done because 2-lap difference is going to help him here in the short run. But as this run goes on, AJ is going to start stabilizing. I think AJ is going to start growing the gap again.
And lap drivers as well. You can see AJ just made his way around Steve Lewis, Ricky Mandela. So you can see a three lap drivers behind them. That's Michael Benton in the 17. So Owens is going to have his work cut out for him. And you can see 3 wide behind him with those lap drivers. Good luck making it through 3 wide here, Joe.
Yeah, you're never going to get anywhere if guys are going 3 wide. If that happened in front of AJ, then I think maybe the guys behind him have a better chance of catching up. So right now it looks like Calgill's trying his best to hold on here to second. He's about a second behind AJ, but he's fallen off here pretty steadily here. Those tires are really starting to fall off for him. And Owens is still running faster laps than the guys in front of him. And he's passing lap cars on top of it.
Yeah, he got by Lewis pretty easily. Mandela as well. Both those drivers letting Owens go by with too much difficulty as they are more than 1 lap down. Did not want to get involved in this battle. Up ahead, Binish now with a 1.3 second lead over Cowgill, but Owens now has cut that lead down to just 2 seconds. Owens continuing to charge, trying to make up that gap. He's got Cowgill on his radar next. Already coming into the picture, you can now see all 3 of those fellas on camera together. This is going to get good. Question is, though, fuel.
Yeah, these guys cannot make it to the end.
They're going to need a splash, right?
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Somebody that's fallen like a rock is Sean Walton, and I don't know why. Let's see if he's trying to save some fuel here.
Sean Walton currently in 13th place. Remember, he qualified second. He has led laps, and now he's just kind of running around the outside. He's going to watch Buddy Sully go by him.
Or what? This is very weird. Because if you look at his last lap time, it's over a second off the pace of everybody else. So I'm not really sure what's going on with him.
Going to continue to monitor that. Yeah, 32.24. That is 1.08 seconds slower than the race leader, AJ Binish. Binish continuing to try to pull away from Cowgill, and now Owens gets by Cowgill. So that's just going to make that tougher. 32 flat for Winfield's last lap. So Sean Walton is clearly trying to save fuel, or he's just in a busted ride. Not sure which of the two. We'll just have to continue to monitor him. But speaking of monitoring, 1.95 seconds between Binish and Owens. So that last lap time, pretty much the same, Joe, between Binish and Owens. This thing could come down to who comes into the pits cleaner.
Yeah, it might really come down to who does the best job of coming down pit road, getting in, getting out, getting the best service that they can down pit road. We'll see how much it matters. A caution could always throw a wrench in anything. We've seen it time and time again, especially in the MRL Thursday Thriller Truck Series, where a late race caution flips the whole race upside down. So that's why I think some of these guys trying to save fuel, they might be thinking, you know what? We've seen it here before. We've seen it at this racetrack before where a late race caution has flipped the whole race upside down. So, they might be thinking, you know what? We might have another situation where the race gets flipped with a 20 to go caution or something. Everybody else pits. We saved enough fuel to stay out. And then we flipped the strategy to where now we're in front of all of them on fresher tires.
Going to be interesting to tell. We'll monitor our leaders and see what decisions they make. But all things considered equal, Joe, at this stage, you're just coming in for a splash, right? You can't afford to take right side. So that it would kill you on time,
yeah,
right?
If I'm pitting this early, I'm taking tires. Sean Walden's coming down pit road here. you got to take, if you're pitting this early, you're taking 4 tires. If you're
comes
staying out
Babcock.
until you're out of fuel, you're going to be taking fuel only. Babcock, I'm going to assume he's coming. So yeah, he's going to take tires here. Cowgill, all these guys are going to take tires. If you don't take tires, you know what, Mean Gene? If you don't take tires here, you're going to be at a huge detriment because the time difference. So of course, you can save about 8 seconds on pit road doing fuel only here compared to taking 4 tires. But the time that you're going to lose on the track, because you can see the tire fall off. We're already in the 31-second bracket. I think if we get fresh tires, we're going to be in the low 30s. So, you're going to be losing like a second a lap. And, with 20 laps left, 8 seconds on pit road versus a second a lap for 20 laps, you're going to lose that battle by about 10 seconds.
Babcock believes in you. The Rooster taking 4 tires. He's back on the track after a quick pit stop there, 14.9 seconds. Meanwhile, Chris Cowgill also down there now taking tires, I believe, as well. We're going to have to see. I see his crew running around.
Yep, there it is.
Getting right sides on. Oh, look at the jack, man. He does that behind the back jack as a technique as he runs around that front bumper. That's dangerous. Dangerous. Back on the track.
All right, that strategy between those leaders you've been talking about, Mean Gene, that gap is starting to close. It's down to 1.3 seconds between AJ and Owens.
And how about Kyle Lynott now? He finds himself in third after the other people pitting. So last guy that's pitted now, Patrick Cowgill, he is a lap down, but pitting on lap 101, that 16th position, he's the first guy that actually has the 4 tires and decided to pit now. Here comes Steve Fugit. He's going to come down and see what he can do next.
Yeah, we'll see what he does. Right now, I think what we're really waiting to see is what these 2 leaders do. Just as I say that, your leader, AJ Binish, is going to come down pit road here with 20 to go, Mean Gene.
Going to turn the lead over to David Owens. We watch the number 5, and this is excruciatingly slow for AJ coming down the pits, watching his rival, Owens, continue to power around. David Owens.
Oh, he missed his pit stall a little.
No, he's fine. He's fine. It's not a problem. Not a problem. David Owens is pitting right now. David Owens bringing it down. We said that the race could be decided based on what happens here in the pits. Benish, not the cleanest entry there. Let's see what Owens can do as he's bringing that number 8 Ford into his pit stall now.
All right, here we go. So we saw AJ miss his pit stall just by that little bit. Lost a little bit of time. Let's see how clean David Owens is getting his pit stall. And picture perfect getting in that pit stall. As here we go. Right sides go up. They're going to change the right side tires. Let's see. Oh, the Jackman. They're not going around to the left. They're going to take rights only, Mean Gene. There he goes.
Wow, there we go. That could be the difference. That is definitely going to improve his time in the pits by a few seconds. Question is, will it be enough or too much for AJ to overcome? AJ in there for the 15.43 second pit stop. You can already tell that extra 0.4 of a second, no good for him. Whereas you're looking at David Owens that came in and decided to do a little trickery, 9.68 seconds. So that 1.5 second lead is going to turn into a 4.5 second deficit real fast. Meanwhile, Kyle Lynott still out there. I think he's on the please God throw a caution strategy.
Yeah, right now there's only 6 trucks on the lead lap. So if a caution were to come out, 6 trucks on the lead lap. David Owens took 2 tires. He's not really in a good spot if a caution comes out, as Kyle Lynott pits, as we say that. So then now it's just going to cycle a few more people. As actually,
Wilson
it looks like
comes in.
Wilson's going to follow him in. Yep. So let's see what Swingle does, and then we'll have a good idea who's on the lead lap and who's not. All right, so Swingle stays out. All right, so now what we're looking at is Swingle and Vulpes would have to pit for tires and fuel. Owens is on 2 tires. Cowgill's on older tires. Binish is on tires that he took 4 there on that last stop. He's on a little bit fresher than
But he's
the 31 in front of him.
He's 3.5 seconds back, 3.75 seconds back behind Owen.
The thing we're thinking about here, though, is if there was a caution to come out, because all these guys are, of course, on the lead lap. So right now, I think if a caution were to come out right now, Vulpes and Swingle would be in a really good spot to really flip the race on its head. I think there's only there's 14 on the lead lap. They'd be on the freshest tires by far over everybody else. And, it's very, very, very advantageous to be on fresh tires. Let's see if Swingle's saving fuel, if he's going to try and make it to the end or not. Or if he's just playing the caution.
15 laps to go for these boys. Swingle, he did pit back on lap number 83, as did Joe Vulpes. So that would really be stretching out 45, 46 laps on these tires and especially on that tank of gas. So we'll see. Swingle, look at those RPMs. What's the verdict?
This is Vulpes right here. He's clutching it for certain. And you can see, actually, he's losing a lot of time to Swingle here per lap. If we bring up the lap times here, the last lap time. So Swingle and Vulpes on the same tires, but Vulpes was 0.6 slower that last lap than Swingle. So Swingle, I think he's not saving. Vulpes is, I think, in a corner now where he really needs a caution because he's way too slow in order to stay in front of anybody behind him.
Yeah, David Owens closing that gap, 5.5 seconds behind Joe Vulpes, and that thing is getting smaller and smaller. 2 seconds behind Owens is Cowgill. And then another second behind Cowgill would be AJ Benish. AJ's kicking himself in the back. It might not be fuel strategy taking him out right now, but it's tire strategy. He's got to find a way to close that gap and get back next to his rival, that number 8 of David Owens. Owens, Cowgill, Benish, Robert Babcock, the Rooster, with a great day, finds himself up in 6th position. He's still a good 6 seconds behind Owens, but got to be happy where he is. Tim Abrell running back in 7th as well. Great first day for Tim. Tire strategy victimizing a lot of guys. Kyle Lynott behind them in 8th, the 988 driver. Right now up 7 spots behind him. Alex Hillman running 9th, and then Sean Walton. I'm not sure his strategy. He also took 2 tires, 9.15 second stop, but only finds himself in 10th. I think that car must be broke, because you're right, Joe. There was that period of time where he was turning those 32-second laps.
Yeah, he's just not having a good time. As we look further up towards the front, AJ make that move on Cowgill for 4th.
Now remember, Owens, AJ, Benish in the 5, and then Cowgill in the 31. Those are the guys. Oh my, it got spicy. Right there, you got to move. You're going to get a summer shanty up the tailpipe.
Yeah, they got very tight with those lap trucks there. Lucas Alves, Tommy Fox right there, got very tight with them. So right now we're looking at that gap. Owens got around Vulpes because Vulpes is excessively slow. Right now it looks like it's about 3.5 seconds between Owens and Benish. That time that he had to take to back up I think it's going to matter a lot. So, we've been talking about pit times, right? So 15.43 on the pit time for AJ is not very good. But what we're looking at, you can't really do too much about that. But what I'm looking at is the time it took him to get on and off pit road, which was a 47.18 there. And you compare that to Patrick Cowgill, who also took 4 tires. That's 2.5 seconds worse than him. And Owens, who took only 2 tires, that is a whole 7 seconds worse than him. So that little hiccup going back and forth, I think cost him more than you think, Mean Gene.
Yeah, you can't make those mistakes against a competitor like David Owens. And now David Owens is going to take over the lead here on lap number 118. 8 laps to go. Lap 119 now. 7 laps remaining. David Owens, he's got the fuel. He's got the right side tires. And most importantly, he's got a 3-second lead over AJ Benish. AJ, 8-second difference in the time on the pits. And now he's trying to make that up. But David Owens, he's a tough pass if you got there. But Joe, I don't think he's going to make it. David, with that 3-second lead, Cowgill is in third. Vulpes milking it in fourth. And then the Rooster in fifth. Great run here today. Owens, though, seems to find a way, whether it's outright speed, fuel strategy, or in this case, tires. That number 8, always a tough out. And here today on lap 120, he's looking good. 6 laps to go.
Yeah, when we look at those last lap times here, 31:15 from Owens, and Binish was slower actually by 4/100ths that last lap. In the saga of Joe Vulpes versus having enough fuel, he's 3 seconds off the pace now per lap as he falls back to 7th place. I don't know how that thing is even. Look at how slow he's going around the track.
I see his feet. Look, it's Fred Flintstone. I can see his feet underneath.
Are those the other cars?
Yeah. Look at people going. Hillman's like, excuse me, I got to go. Hey, you remember earlier we were talking about Buddy Sully having a rough one? How about Buddy now up into 10th on those the same strategy as everybody else now, pitted last on 107?
Yeah, I think he'll be in 9th here in about a lap, unless Vulpes is able to get the anchor out of the air and get the thing moving again. But yeah, I think you're going to see this is going to get interesting. So we're going to have a really slow 13 truck. Right in front of Sean Walton and Buddy Sully battling for 9th. Okay. Well, let's see how this plays out.
Oh, and they're battling hard. Look at that. Right into the tail. Walton's going to look low.
Sully's looking high. By side in front of the slow truck.
Let's go 3 wide. Oh, wow. Sully went way high right there and
got in the marbles.
Yeah, he got a good run, though, coming out of there. We'll see what he can do with that run.
Oh, look at him go. I think he might have something for him here. Look at that. I think you're right. That 18 truck there's got to be something wrong with it.
Yeah, he's been off just a little bit, it seems like. Sean Walton ran a 31.8, Buddy Sully with a 31.6 that last lap. Looks like Buddy's finally going to clear him. Lap 124 underway. David Owens looking strong as he is bringing it across the start-finish line. And this is it. White flag lap. David Owens, 4-second lead. It just got bigger and bigger as the race went on. A.J. Binish looked powerful early on. Patrick Cowgill, he led some laps. Sean Walton took the pole. But right now, it's David Owens bringing it into turn number 3. He's looking up at the fans. He's waving. And here he comes across the start finish. It's David Owens taking the season opener at Nashville. What a win by the number 8 Nas Ford Pilot. David Owens, Final 4 last year, and he is your first winner. What a run by Owens.
Yeah, great finish for him. He was able to hold off AJ. Actually, on the 2 tires, he actually started to grow the gap there. He pulled away. He pulled it back out to 4 seconds, so 2 tires was the right call for certain for long run speed. Great decision from him. He's able to hold off AJ actually pretty handily here. Cowgill finishes 3rd, Babcock 4th, Lynott rounds out the top 5 here in the first race of the new Thursday Thriller Truck Series season.
And look at that, Tim Abrell, first run of the year for him, going to finish in 6th. Hillman 7, Buddy Sully to 8th, Sean Walton 9, and Dalton Wilson, his first race, going to finish 10th. And look at the donuts, he's got plenty of fuel as Chad the Flag waving it hard there for our victor, David Owens. Great win, 4-second victory over A.J. Binish. Other notables, how about Ryan Whitaker? So all 3 new faces finish in the top 11. Brenner going to finish 12th. Chris Cowgill going to finish 13th. That's some brotherly love as Cowgills both have great days. Steve Fugay going to finish 14th. Joe Vulpes milks it to a 15th. Probably going to need to get his bunions scrubbed.
I think he ran out of think he ran out of fuel there on the last lap and didn't finish the race, actually.
Yeah, one down. Tommy Fox going to finish 16. Ricky Mandela Sr. 17. Lucas Alves going to finish 18th. 19th place belongs to Matt Novella after a rough, rocky start. 20th going to go to Rich Swingle. Captain Crunch Steve Lewis, 21. Steve Bryan, 22. The commish, John Beverly, 23. Mike Benton, 24. Joe Amato, 25. And Zach Panzarella is somewhere over the rainbow with his previous engagement finishes 79 laps down. 14 trucks finish on the lead lap. Vulpes was close, but missed it by that much.
Yeah, the strategy did not work out in his favor at all there. And I do think we have our race winner, though, the other side of Gulf Coast Racing, the one that ended up in victory lane with us here in the booth with us there, Mean Gene.
David, you got your ears on. Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear, Mean Gene.
Hey, bud, Mean Gene, Smoking Joe Vulpes up here in the booth. Man, you got to be on cloud nine right about now.
Oh, absolutely. It's great to be able to get the win out there tonight in the season opener.
I tell you what, 2 tires, that just seems to be the way to go. You've been known to win on speed. You've been known to win on fuel strategy. And now I'm seeing you win on tire strategy. At what point were you thinking 2 tires?
When right before that second round of that last set of pit stops, the second to last one, I got within about a bumper and a half of AJ, and Dirty Air just sitting me up through the turn 1, got up towards the wall, and I knew then, I was like, man, Dirty Air is just going to keep me from getting around him, and I had to change it up. So noticed on that stop, the left side tires had some decent life in them, and I knew it was going to be a short run to the end, so I gambled and took the 2 tires there to see if I could at least get around them and have a chance to fight to keep the position.
I love how you use the word gamble. I've played a lot of 5-card draw, and sometimes you gamble and take random cards rather than holding them. You just keep that ace in your hand. Well, David, tonight you were the ace because when you pulled 4 cards or 2 tires in this situation, you actually pulled away from AJ on the 2 tires. Did you know you were that fast? Were you watching the telemetry of the speeds?
I noticed towards the end I was starting to pull away, and I think that's just what it really came down to, him trying to get around a few of the other cars and get through some lap traffic to catch me. So that definitely worked to my advantage, to him trying to get back to me. Then it really just tapered off. We got even, then it just started to pull away after that.
Well, it got pretty exciting. There was a little 3 wide, but they had single filed by the time that AJ caught up to them. Now, I want to ask you about the fuel, though. In stage 1, we saw a couple of people thinking about pushing the fuel. They modulated their speed, but it didn't work. It seemed like fuel was not working for whatever reason. Track temperature, the new configuration. Like, were you aware of the fuel consumption and decided fuel strat was just not the way to go?
Yeah, for the stage, fuel strategy wasn't the way to go. The caution was just, I'd say about 2 or 3 laps too soon. 2 or 3 laps later, that fuel strategy definitely would have worked, because you'll have some people out here that can push that and save that, and the others that won't. So you'll be able to flip that. It just, to me, it wasn't worth, again, the gamble to do that. So I took the fuel only and was hoping that, if anybody did take 4 tires, that I'd at least still finish with the top 5 on the stage.
Well, exciting to watch you do it tonight. All right, I'm going to switch modes on you. We talked about you as a driver. Now I'm going to talk about you as one of the 4 captains of the truck tournament, the in-season truck tournament, which will pick the final racetrack for the championship. There's a lot of new faces out there. Did any of these guys stand out for you? I mean, how about a Tim Abreu coming in a 6th spot? You got a Dylan Wilson coming in 10th. I mean, Ryan Whitaker in 11th. It's got to be fun to see this new blood come in, and not just new blood, but fast guys too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely definitely good to see some new guys having some success early. Only time will tell to see how they'll really turn out in the season. So definitely want to keep an eye on them. But as far as the truck team tournament, being it's where it's at in the season and the qualifying races, basically to see who we could pick or whatever, it's more than likely going to be some more familiar faces to be picked up. But you never know. Someone might get on a just shine outside what we typically look for.
I'll tell you what, last year it was Steve Lewis, Captain Crunch. That guy carried DDI 2 of the last 4 weeks of that regular season. So you never can tell. But with all these new faces, it's going to be exciting to keep track as we move forward. But this is just race 1, early season. 12 races going to be here in season 6 of our Thursday Thriller season, and it is you, David Owens, champion of Nashville. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we head out?
I'll shout out to you guys up here in the booth, Mean Gene, Smoking Joe. Appreciate everything y'all are going to do for us this season, which y'all have already done for us. Buddy Salih for putting all the packaging together. Give us a great broadcast. Then shout out to my teammates. Got a couple new faces. We changed some of the seats around, so it's going to be myself, Buddy Salih, Joe Fulbus, and Matt Novella. Me and Joe have been running together for a few seasons and a couple of years now across a couple platforms. So definitely got the chemistry there. Buddy and I, we've all raced together for a couple of seasons, and Novella is going to be our firecracker of the bunch. The way he races, he's a bit of on the aggressive side. We like it. That's why we wanted him over there, but. I feel like we can work together, get the communication down, and I think we'll be a tough team to really rival for that team championship.
I'm going to agree with you. And the other thing Novella brings is his ability on those road courses. Novella, of course, has the ability to turn right as good as anybody else in this league. So the 56 coming back from DDI, strong addition to your team, and we'll just monitor that as we move forward through this truck competition. David, hell of a win, my friend. Fastest truck onto the track, did win tonight, and that is the number 8 of David Owens. My friend, go have a cold one. You have earned it.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good night.
And there it is. That is your champion tonight, David Owens, on top of the podium, getting the win. And there he is, spinning it around once again for the fans. As you can see, he is the winner here at Nashville. Joe, amazing race. Not a lot of cautions and a lot of excitement, though. I saw 3 wide. I saw 4 wide get hinted at a couple of times, but most of the drivers able to keep it on the straight and narrow. And hey, what would be a race without some old rivalries being rekindled? Hopefully, we're going to see a lot of the Rooster and Sean Walton this year because, man, that was fun.
Yeah, I want to point out that the race went green. We only had 1 caution for cause tonight. This is a great turnaround from the way the race went last season, where it was just really, really a mess, in my opinion. A lot of respect was really lost last season on the track in this race, I remember. And you know what we saw tonight? We saw a lot of great racing between everybody. A lot of give and take. Even though we were able to go 3 wide, we were able to do it in a respectful way and really, have some good battles and not have it turn into a demolition derby. So great shout out to everybody. 26 drivers for this race, some new fresh faces into the league as well. And we were able to pull off that good of a race. That just leaves me very, very excited for what we have moving forward. Speaking about moving forward, let's take a gander at the points actually here after the first race of the season, Mean Gene. David Owens, of course, on top, winning the stage and the race here tonight.
Yeah, and of course, is it a win in your end, Joe?
Correct.
So there it is. Owens, not only did he win tonight, he is the first driver to qualify for the playoffs. Of course, the top 12 go to make the playoffs, and that's where those points, stage points and bonus points, really come into effect. You can see that cutoff line, too early to worry and too early to get excited. And other drivers, I imagine, are going to show up. We have no Dalton Geyer yet, one of the final 4 drivers. So I imagine he'll be making an appearance and throw his name into the race for the chase just next week. But lots of familiar names, and I love seeing those new names. I know David said it's a little early to get excited about the new guys, but look at it. All 3 of the new guys find themselves up there. Oh, my. And they're all on the same team. Look at that.
Well, I guess that it proves that why they were so good tonight. They all worked together very well, actually. They finished all three of them top 11. So
Yeah.
that's a really, really good debut for a new team. Three new drivers, brand new team to the league. That's a great, great job by those guys to come out here and look at where they are in the points. One race in, some stage points for Abrel. He's sitting sixth in the points. Whitaker got that 11th place finish, but has as many points as Dalton Wilson, who finished right in front of him there in the top 10.
Yeah, you got to be excited. I've seen a lot of different leagues where a new group of fellas will come in, and sometimes you can see clashing, especially if they're winning in their other leagues. And with the speed these guys showed tonight, I am going to guarantee you that they all have done some winning in some other leagues, but merging in here beautifully, playing the give and take game, and that allows them all three to walk away being top 9 in points as we move forward next week. And you might wonder, where are we next week, Joe? We're at Auto Club. That thing's wide open. It's super exciting. And so we'll find ourselves there for 85 laps of excitement. And of course, we will return to our normally scheduled time. That will be about 10:30 on Thursday. So we'll be back on the air for truck racing on the Thursday at August the 7th. Of course, there'll be other races prior to that here on the Vortex Racing Network. Never forget Tuesdays, don't forget Wednesdays, and don't forget Thursdays. And then August 11th, that's the Monday you need to remember. We'll kick off live Monday Night Mayhem. 4 nights a week, Joe. That is exciting, bud.
Yeah, I'm really excited once we get a few new additions to this broadcast to really bring up for you. I know you're looking forward to them, so I can't wait until we get some new stuff out there. But you know what? I'm really looking forward to next week's action. Of course, we're off on Tuesday next week, so we get a week of reprieve in that series, and then over here on Thursdays we're going to be at Auto Club, so that's going to be a real interesting one. So you know what? I'm really looking forward just to seeing the way the racing goes next week, especially over here in MRL. On the MRL side, we got Auto Club next week on Thursday. On Friday, we also have Kentucky, so that'll be very interesting. Another race next week on the schedule as well. On Wednesday, we're going to be doing some short track racing. We're going to be going to IRP on Wednesday. So MRL's got a nice spread next week there, Mean Gene. We got a short track, we got a track where we're going to see some drafting, and then we got a track a nice 1.5 miles in there as well.
Oh, rivalries will be made, friendships will be tested, and excitement will be had for all. Can't wait. Join us on the Vortex Racing Network to see exactly what happens. And that's going to wrap up our first race of the year for the MRL Thursday Thriller Truck Series. It's David Owens victorious, punching his way into the playoffs. He'll be one of the 12 drivers, and we'll see who will be next when they face off at Auto Club next Thursday. On behalf of myself, Mean Gene Money, Smoking Joe Vulpes, all the boys back in the production truck, and the admins of MRL, Steve Fugay, John Beverly, David Owens, Joe Vulpes, Zach Panzarella, and anybody I forgot, thank you so much for the help you've had. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful evening, and as always, bottoms up and hammer down.